Welcome back. Now, for many years, age has been a huge barrier for several qualified youths seeking employment in Nigeria, both in federal government agencies and private organizations. As it stands today, there's no law prohibiting age discrimination in Nigeria, but many agencies operate limits now within 26 to 30 years of age now for new applicants, and this has in many ways fueled the country's unemployment crisis. So what we're basically saying is that, well, for most organizations, the moment you're above the age of 26, it's very difficult for you to get employed in such organizations. Now, in view of this, the Senate is urging the Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment to immediately set up a committee to review the age limit for job seekers in the country. Well, joining me now to discuss this is Isaac Abajingi, who is a young man who's been actually denied a job role on the basis of his age. He joins us via Skype from Ekiti State. Thank you very much, Isaac, for joining us on the program. When you heard this decision now by the Senate asking the Federal Ministry of Labor now to do something about this, review the age limit, what exactly came to your mind?
Yeah, I'm actually happy for the development because I'm actually a victim of this age barrier. I've been job hunting for close to 3 years, and the whole criteria for me to be able to get that job is if I'm below my age, which I cannot change. It has affected so many people. Even people that are going to crime is because of lack of unemployment. I wish the federal government could look up to this because a man of 35 years old cannot secure a job, but a man of 70 years can run for a public office, which is very, very bad. I wish the government could do something more to change this whole system. And it's not even the government alone, even private sectors are doing the same thing.
And that's actually an irony that you've pointed out there, that a man of 35-year-old can actually not secure a job, and then a 70-year-old is actually allowed to run for office. And we've seen it in this country.
Yes. Yes, that's just it. Because to me, I feel it's just misplaced priorities. For real. If the government truly wants us to live a good life, they ought to do all those things to help the masses. Now, I've been job hunting for 3 years. I went to, for instance, there's this company, an engineering company that I applied to. They said, I wrote the exam, I did the test, I did the whole thing, and after the whole final screening, they told me that I didn't meet up to the age standard, which is very, very bad. People should employ graduates based on what they have in their head, not by the age. They tend to employ people that, if you're even 25, it's very hard for you to get a job because as at 25, they want you to have job experience of 8 years, which is very, very bad.
And let's face it, from your own experience, just try to help us understand it so that people who don't really know this, especially people who are not, who do not live in this country and do not understand the way things are here, that is obviously most times it's not even possible to have, you have the 6-3-3-4 system here. That's our education here. 6 years of primary, 6 years of primary school, 3 years of junior secondary, 3 years of senior secondary, and 4 years university. But that in reality, things do not always work out that way because, for instance, unless maybe if you were to attend a private university, if you were attending a public university, there's no guarantee that a 4-year course would actually take just 4 years.
Yes, because of the strikes. I just feel the whole system is collapsed based on education aspect and employment aspect. Imagine me going to school, my parents labored to get my fees. I stayed up all night to read so I can pass the exam, all because I want to get a good job after all education. And at the long run, I got down because I didn't meet up to the age limit. As if there's this particular job that I applied for, they said the criteria is 27 years old. But as at 27, they wanted to have 5 years experience, which is very bad.
So how do they expect, where do they expect you to get the experience from?
Maybe from school. Maybe the experience I was doing while in school.
And tell me, for young people like you, how despondent are you when you come up with such, such situations where you're told you're above the age of people we want to employ?
I always feel down. Like I always feel down. And this whole thing has set me into depression, for real. Like there was one certain time that I was like, okay, what do they want me to do? If I didn't hold myself up, I'll definitely go into something illegal. Same thing with those youths that are doing illegal things, cybercrime, kidnapping, all those stuff. It's because they searched for jobs and they didn't get it. And their only option was just to go into something illegal. So that thing has actually affected me negatively, for real.
So now that the Senate has asked the Ministry of Labor to actually review the situation, what exactly would you want to see? What would you want the ministry to do? In terms of age limit, do you think there should even be a limit? As an age limit to getting employment now? There should be a limit to the age limit to an age now that one can actually get employment.
Yes, they can actually set a limit, probably 60 years.
60?
Yeah, probably 60 years. And they should employ based on your qualification and things you have upstairs, not by your age. So if they want to really review this thing like this, say, because this is Nigeria, they talk, but they don't act. If they really change this whole system, I feel they should just make the age limit 60 years. And by your qualification, I want you to have upstairs.
And but some people would say if you make the age limit 60 years, then you might end up with a workforce that is probably old and not very much productive.
Why I say 60 years? Because I feel they should just make 60 years the retirement age for everybody. Because if they didn't retire some person, to be able to secure a job. So they can just make it 60 years, at least we know that's the retirement age for the older ones. So that the young ones can come into office to do something different.
And of course, something very important you said. If a 70-year-old can run for office, the office of president of this country, that I think is the most important job you could ever think of in Nigeria, and one of the most important jobs in Africa, then why can't a 30-year-old be employed? Why should a 30-year-old be told that they are too old to get employed?
I just feel this whole system is against the youth. This whole thing is against the youth. They said the youth are the leaders of tomorrow. Next tomorrow. That's what it looks like.
All right, Isaac Abajingi, thank you very much for joining us on the program and for sharing your thoughts there. I can understand your frustration, to be very candid, and I think the age limit thing actually doesn't make any sense to me at all. I do not see any reason why an organization would say if you're above the age of 21, do not apply for jobs now to join our organization. It just doesn't make sense at all. Thank you very much for joining us on the program. All right, we'll take a short break and we'll be right back. On DEJI360, we don't just ask the questions. What is wrong with amending the Constitution the way the National Assembly members have been doing it? We seek answers.
Constitution is constituent.
Our problem is not lack of laws. Our problem is lack of the willpower to implement our laws.
Answers that provide clarity.
While we negotiate, we should try to make it a point that the girls must be complete.
The clarity you need to make informed judgment so that you can make the right decision and take action. People are saying it is you politicians that are responsible for this, that you are the reason why this is happening.
All these dollars that call themselves governors in this country?
I wish we had people like Tony at the National Assembly.
God forbid that I go to join that band.
DEJI360. providing clarity to issues.